gonna be fun. Obviously, there's a whole lot still to do on this car. While I tell you a little story about a couple wrenches that were tossed into all of this, I promise there's a point to this, so don't go away. First, let me get you caught up to what happened since my last video release. If you remember, I got sick with something that rhymes with rovid. I thought I was perfectly fine. I thought I was good. I thought, I still had some congestion. It was hard to catch my breath a little bit, but I really didn't have any major effects from it, which is good. I consider myself very lucky. I only felt like bad for a couple hours of one day. But one of the things that stuck and seemed to just not go away was my inability to really do anything physical that was intense or got my heart rate up, because I found myself getting just tired and out of breath very easily. And that's not like me. I tried to come out here. I've tried to make a couple videos. I've started a few videos, but I just was getting so tired and so frustrated with myself because I couldn't push through it that mentally I was just like, whatever, I don't want to do this right now. And I would piddle around and do some things on the car here and there. But honestly, I just wasn't in the headspace and apparently in the physical space to even get out here and do any kind of quality work. So obviously that set me behind my initial date of the Pontiac Nationals. I still have some lingering that didn't work. We'll just pretend that never happened. And it may go without saying, but that has put me behind by about 3 weeks, is what I ended up losing to rovid. And I'm the type of person that sort of believes that everything happens for a reason. And a part of me thought maybe I was rushing myself. And this is where I get into telling you a little bit more about me as a person. This is relevant, so just give me a second. I promise. So on a personal note of things about me is that I have hyper awareness and sensory motor OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. I was diagnosed in 2013. What that means is that I am very attentive to details, and things that aren't right or things that I deem, I guess, aren't right really bother me, and they stick out, and I don't let them go easily. It's not as simple as saying, "Let it go!" It's not how it works with somebody with OCD or an anxiety disorder of some kind. So as I was, recovering from rovid, I had time to come out and just look at what I've done to this car. And there were some little things that stood out to me that I just wasn't super happy with. One of them being the body line right here that runs down this door. I had it straight and it looked fine. It just didn't look good enough. So why it bothered me so much is that this body line is not, it's more organic than it is exact. In that it's sharper here towards the center of the door and then sort of just feathers and fades out, which then the quarter panel picks back up, and then it gets sharp again, and then it fades out again. Then the fender picks up, fades out, gets sharper, fades out again. So you got these transitional things, and it's not super easy, for me at least, to get that right. The average person probably would never have noticed. But then there's me, and people like me, who would look at that and just go, that could have been better if you just spent another hour on it. And that's what goes through my head. The only thing that's separating this door from being, my idea of right is time, is a little bit more effort. Which brings me to the deadline of the Pontiac Nationals, which, did I mention, is only 4 days from now? So why the Pontiac Nationals? I grew up with Pontiacs. Between my uncle and my dad, I think there's 11 Pontiacs, mostly Firebirds and Trans Ams. Actually, all Firebirds and Trans Ams. and I do plan to show those on this channel. So if you haven't yet, consider subscribing because I got some cool things, hopefully in the works, that have to do with some other things other than this stuff. All of what I'm saying is, when you have a project, it'll never, ever go the way you want it to go. There's always going to be something. You're going to discover something. When I got this car, there's a lot of hidden stuff that on the surface of it appeared to be fine that I've had to go back and undo and redo. There's a lot of things that I did and didn't do well during the pandemic. Things were hard to get, setting my personal goals back. Even right now, I have urethane primer on order and it's still not here. So the point that I'm trying to make is that, I'm okay with not making this deadline. I'm sort of disappointed in myself. But the reality is that going back to me telling you all of this to begin with, is that I am a human being. And it's going to be crazy to think that any project you start is not going to have any of that. So what does that mean for you? Nothing. I'm still going to just continue working on the car and getting it done as soon as possible, but I'm not going to sacrifice the quality of the work that I do or the quality of work that I have the potential of doing, like basically anybody, for some arbitrary deadline that is more just symbolic than anything else. I'm sort of a nobody here on YouTube, so if you like the content, please like the content. If you have something to say or something you want to contribute, please use the comment box. It really, really helps out a channel like mine. And if you think I've earned it, consider subscribing and click the notification bell so you get all the updates as I update. I'll be here sanding. You can check out the car and all the things that I've gotten done and all the things that are still to do. So I'll see you in the next one. I need coffee. Wait a minute. I actually need to do this. What do I do that for? It's only 4 lays left. Oh boy. Uh-oh.